Ghana has now taken the South Africa's immigration issue to the African Union, and the word that they're using is xenophobia. But that's not even what caught my attention. What caught my attention, my people, is that about a month ago, South Africa reportedly wanted to send a delegation to Ghana to discuss what's happening on the ground. Ghana refused the visit. You see? Now think about that for a second. These are the leaders that we are looking to for African unity. They don't talk to each other. They don't even seem interested in talking to each other. Instead of saying, let's sit down here, let's understand what's really happening before we escalate this. The issue is heading straight to the African Union. And here is the interesting part. From what has been reported, even ECOWAS wasn't fully on board with taking this route. Yet Ghana decided to proceed anyway. But what really bothers me, though, is something else. If you look at this, has any African country sent journalists to South Africa to spend weeks in these communities to investigate properly, to speak to South Africans, to migrants, to police, to community leaders, to ordinary people, so that we can separate, facts from social media? Have we done that? Because I haven't seen any of that. Instead, we've all been watching the same viral clips, the same Facebook posts, the same TikToks, the same WhatsApp videos, right? That's what's been happening. If that's the evidence that we are using to shape diplomacy between African states, me people, then we got a serious problem here. You can see it, right? Leadership isn't about reacting first, me people. Leadership is being the only one in the room who says, hold on, what are we missing here? Instead, what I have seen over these past weeks is it's leaders and politicians from different African countries immediately talking about shutting down South African businesses, deporting South Africans, and retaliating. And I keep asking myself, have you actually thought this through? Leaders, those businesses employ thousands of your own citizens. Those South Africans are there legally, right? So exactly, who are you punishing here? This is what emotional leadership looks like, me people. Making decisions while angry instead of making decisions that actually solve the problems that we are facing as African people. Now let's talk about the African Union itself. I'm curious, what exactly is expected to happen there? What is it? Because this is the same continent where Sudan is burning, right? Eastern Congo has been bleeding for years. Africans are being sold for slaves in Libya. Yes, it's happening right now. Me people, look it up. Young people have been killed during protests in Kenya. People are being abducted. They are disappearing in Uganda as we speak. Zimbabwe has faced years of disputed elections, me people, political violence. The list goes on. We have watched African crisis pile up one after another. That's what's going on right now. So I'm trying to understand, why is this issue considered so urgent that it couldn't even be discussed properly between two governments? Why? And before anyone misunderstands me people, let me be clear. Illegal immigration is real. It's a real issue in South Africa. That's not an opinion. Thousands of undocumented immigrants have been deported, right? That tells us there is a genuine immigration problem here. At the same time, innocent foreigners should never be attacked. Violence against people because of their nationality is wrong. Those two things can exist at the same time. Both truths can exist. But here is my question to the governments also, whose citizens are involved in this. Where is your accountability? Where is the conversation about why so many of your citizens are living undocumented in another African country? Why? Where is the willingness to sit down with South Africa and solve the problem together? Where is the willingness? Because this is bigger than South Africa, right? This is Africa's leadership problem. People, our leaders don't talk enough. They don't solve problems together. Every country operates like a little small island. Yet our economies are connected. Our people are moving across borders every day. Our problems, they don't stop at the borders. We know this. Then we wonder why Africa struggles to move forward. Why we're not growing. We've been talking about this immigration issue for months now. How many joint meetings, me people, have our leaders held since these things started? How many regional solutions have been proposed? How many honest conversations like this are taking place? How many of them? Very few, right? And that's exactly the problem that we keep saying. We keep saying that we want African unity, but unity isn't measured by those speeches at AU summits, me people. It's measured by what leaders do when two African countries disagree. Do they pick up the phone? Do they sit around one table? Do they investigate together? Do they solve these problems together? Do they? Or do they just rush to accuse each other while the rest of the continent watches? What's happening? Because if this is our standard of leadership, me people, then Africa doesn't just have an immigration problem. We have a leadership problem. And it's, anyways, peace and love.
Ghana has a president. His name is John Brahman Muhammad. So what Pramani said is they are petitioning to condemn xenophobic attacks and the lives lost from Ghanaians in South Africa and Nigerians. I'm a South African. I was born and raised in South Africa. I lived in South Africa for decades. I know what Ghanaians do in South Africa. I know what Nigerians do in South Africa. I know. But you should be ashamed that your own president spreads misinformation. See, my president, South African president, you will never catch him out on anything. He's very careful with his words. Because you can't believe everything you hear. You got to search things out. It's really unwise to just say things like that. It's dangerous. Who lost their lives? How many? When? Where? 290 out of 300 Ghanaians on a flight getting repatriated voluntarily were legally in South Africa. Only 10. 290 were illegally in South Africa. Did the president of Nigeria or Ghana condemn that? Zero. But you're condemning South Africans. I don't understand that. So I need to help you understand. But you can't. Because I would be ashamed if I was you, but you are incapable of feeling shame. But you really should be. 1 John 4 verse 1. Don't believe everything you hear. It's really, really unwise. So please, but we can't beg of you. But the truth will come out. The truth will come out eventually. Because you're trying to isolate or collectively condemn South Africa. Do it. Do it. Because you have zero problems in Ghana, zero problems in Nigeria, no poverty, no slums, nothing. Perfection, no prisons. All of them have PhDs. All of them. Smart cities, right? No crime. Nothing. Freedom of speech. That's why you can... I didn't even know president's name from Ghana. I know Alpan, Kingsford, Sumana, Pakpe. So the guy I know. But it's okay, African brothers. Mwah, we love you, Ghana. We love you, Nigeria. That's why you are able to get cars that are very expensive, but you're on a study visa, but you're a billionaire in South Africa and you live comfortably, right? There's a lot of Nigerians in South Africa now. A lot of Ghanaians in South Africa now. They didn't leave. They're still there. What are they doing, I wonder? All of them are earning honest living. iPhone 17 Pro Max, 1 terabyte pilots. Paid in full. Turn the CV off.
Let me take this opportunity to indulge the xenophobes, the Afrophobes from KZN. The bloody xenophobes, the tribalist of notes. Those who go around attacking people of the same skin, saying that they must go home. I want to indulge you, whether you like it or not. I'm a South African, fully, completely, and proudly so.
My bloodline carries many roots. Because, after all, that is the story of our country, South Africa. Our bloodline carries many roots. I will just give you 6 surnames. Only 6 surnames. 3 from my father's side and 3 from my mother's side. Let me start. My father's side. Thomo, which is my real surname. Thomo. Ukhambule ndaba ezitha Jozi Libovu. Libovu kazi lamadoda. That's my surname. Thomo. Then Sawhate. Sawhate is my grandmother's surname, who is the mother of my father. Then Moloi. Moloi is the grandmother of my father. You know, who is the mother of my grandmother. Moloi. Thomo, which is my real surname. Sawhate and Moloi. And don't ask me why don't I use my real surname. That's a story for another day. From my mother's side, Mhlanga, which I'm currently using. Mhlanga, which is the surname of my grandfather, the father of my mother. Baloi. Baloi is a surname of my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, the mother of my mother. And also Nkuna. Nkuna is also the surname related to the mother of my mother. I've given you 6. Father side, Thomo, Sawhate, Moloi. Mother side, Mhlanga, Baloi, Nkuna. I did not borrow these surnames or buy these surnames. These are my ancestors, my blood, my history. South Africa was never built by one tribe, one language, or one surname. South Africa is a country of intertwined bloodlines, cultures, and history. So when you question my identity, you bloody Zulus, understand this. I don't need permission to belong in this land of my ancestors. I know who I am. I know where I come from. And I stand proudly in my identity. You bloody xenophobes.
After all the match and match, the looting, the insult, and everything, do South Africans want us to relate to them like nothing has happened? Because in a couple of months now, everything will like nothing has happened in South Africa, right? But do they want us Africans to relate with them as nothing has ever happened? I just want to know. Though Jessita said the protest will continue after three months and every Tuesday you people will come and protest. But I really want to know, do South Africans want us to relate with them as Africans? Because all these we are brothers, you know they work for my place though. If no be my mama born you, you are not my siblings. You can never be my brother because all this African brother that we are seeing, it has not taken us anywhere. So do South Africans still want us to relate as Africans, like go into relationships, businesses, talk as if nothing has happened? Do you guys really want us to? We don't draw line. As you have said it now, let it be like that. Yes, you cannot slap me and come and laugh with me later. It doesn't work that way. As you have gone that path, ensure that you follow that path to the end of the earth. But like I said, it's a simple question. Do South Africans want us to relate like nothing has happened because you are fighting for your rights? After looting, after killing, after all the insult and everything, do you guys also want us to relate because we are Africans like nothing has happened? It's just a simple question, a harmless one at that. I just want to know.
The secret is out. Jacinta, I can't even say her name, Ngombe Zuma, whatever her name is, she's been funded. Of course, it makes sense. South African March and March is being funded by people who want to see black on black fighting. If you don't believe me, just do a quick Google search on who is funding March and March. The South African group, which is dishing all the hate against South Africa, because at some point I was really disappointed and angry about Black South Africans. And then I thought to myself, how is it that these Black South Africans are very specific about who they don't want in South Africa? They don't want other Blacks. And because Blacks are not the source of their problems, it's been funded in order to get to Black South Africans. You have been played and you stepped up. You stepped up so well with your hate against other Black Africans, and something big is coming. Do a quick Google search on who is funding hate in South Africa. Just do a quick Google search. Look at where the money is coming from, because these people, Jacinta is not a friend of South Africa. She is not. March and March organizers are not friends of Black South Africans. She has done a Judas on South Africans. Believe you me,